Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers. Welcome to another video with me, your Ascension guide. So today I want to talk about what it means, what it is to be an integrated human divine being. Well, it's a funny thing, right? It sounds something so out of the ordinary, but it's same as saying a divine human being, meaning as self-realized or a divine love embodied being source infused. Before I start reading from this note I made yesterday and then explaining a bit about it, I want to share about something that I was asked via email. Someone asked me if I can expand on what I mean when I always refer to holding the space. When I say we hold the space, the goddess energy holds the space. It's kind of like the static energy that we all have within our polarized nature of divine feminine and masculine, which we are now bringing into perfect unison and equilibrium. So what it means is holding the space means that for me, how I live it, how I experience it in my daily life is when you see someone, you hold a space for them through unconditional love. But like I said, we have a triangle of unconditional love, wisdom, and power. So holding a space is being in that fusion of divine love, seeing their highest potential, so they can also step into it. But that means by not doing it for them, you're actually holding a space for yourself. You're actually holding a space for the highest potential for you, within you. Because you are bringing yourself to your highest potential. And when you do, you also live it and see it in everyone else, even if they don't yet embody all their highest potential, which is kind of a natural thing now on this human level. The only difference between all of us is how strong and potent our divine remembrance is, because it's different in different soul aspects, that we have here. I'm sorry. So the thing is, we're all born from that same stardust, some would say, from that same soul, same oversoul, same source. We're different oversouls, but we have all same God spark running through us. Although there's like this pyramid in creation, which I call the variation of creation. But an integrated being will know their own variation of creation, and that's what's important. That's what I want to share in this video. So to hold the space means remembering yourself, integrating that. And once you become that highest aspect, the highest light, you hold the space. For example, what is the opposite of holding the space? Is, for example, you see someone, you see their current human embodiment, and you describe them as such and such. You say, oh, but they're not strong enough to go through that. Oh, I have to help them. Or, I have to protect them because they're not this way yet. What you're doing is you're describing them. You're projecting yourself to them. And it's very important to see where you would be without the thought of them being a certain way, because it is coming through you. It's not the absolute reality. It's not the absolute truth. It's not the absolute assessment. So what you can do at that time when you notice yourself doing that is return back to you. And whenever you say those words for someone else, you're basically speaking to yourself. You want to protect yourself. You think you're not strong enough. So all these things that we say to others, we basically are saying to ourselves. These are beliefs we still have within us. So it's very important to explore them, to research them, so we can come in that neutrality and become this integrated divine human being. So holding the space means seeing the highest vision and potential for someone, even if they're not embodying that yet. That is holding the space. You don't have to engage with anything particular in that person. For instance, if they're not at your level and you just can't communicate or co-create or respond, because communication is in both ways. Communication is not just speaking, it's also listening. It needs to be in flow. A lot of people think they're in communication with someone, but they're not, because it's very one-sided. It's not very much a mature conversation. It's not a mature, within divine integrity kind of conversation and communication. So first we need to hold the space for ourselves, seeing and feeling, like I said yesterday in my video, feel yourself, feel your spirit. And then also through that, you hold the space for everyone else. And only through embodying this highest frequency, others can step into it. And I've lived through examples of this. This is not just a mind kind of rational thinking sort of way. When you see living examples in your own life, that is when you really become a model for that. You see the tangible results of it. That is what holding the space means. It is to see and feel with all your heart that highest vision. So instead of, like I said before, through the opposite example, seeing that person as, not strong enough, not capable enough, you see that they're a divine soul just like you. And you let go and you surrender them to their own divinity. And you only see and feel the highest respect, no matter where they are in their journey, because it's about you, where you are in your journey. So through that, you hold the space of divine love. Okay, now let me get to what I wrote about, to be an integrated, self-realized being and what it means. I'll read through a few points and I'll discuss how important it is to feel our own authentic self instead of comparing, with one another. Because a self-realized being doesn't mean that you come only into oneness. You come into your source individuality, your individualization, your I-ness in uniqueness within oneness. It's embracing the uniqueness and oneness at the same time. And that is when you really become that source-infused being. So for me, an integrated being means that this being, first of all, knows no opposites. So is without, it's kind of not running in the game of duality anymore. Duality is no longer their perception. They're no longer living in duality consciousness. Such being resides in the space of uniqueness and oneness simultaneously, the I and the all that is. An integrated being always lives in its truth and integrity. It never teaches, preaches, never tries to be something. They just are. That being just is. It knows and feels its purpose, an integrated being, only in the now moment. It merges the past, future, present, while living in the now. It also receives and follows inner guidance through the heart, because it knows the importance of receiving and giving, so being and taking action, divine feminine and divine masculine. So the integrated being is in complete balance of the inner and outer divine masculine and feminine. An integrated being creates its own reality by being an empowered, self-responsible divine being. It knows about its co-creator nature. That kind of being embraces everything through compassion, which is higher understanding, but embodies only that which flows through the heart. So being compassionate, you feel where everybody else is, you tune into everything, but you stay true to you. You see, compassion is not going outside of yourselves because you think another version of source needs to be saved or rescued. That is not truly compassion. By being aware that when you stay in your inner compassion and your inner heart authenticity, you actually truly do assist. And that is the service through the heart. So such a being is a true living example and an inspiration of embodiment of divine love. They radiate out all of this for all to see, and its light of truth touches everyone on their path. So there's a lot of other things you can add up. You can make your own list, but it's important to feel yourself in this space. Because I recently stumbled upon this video when it was shared that the being who shared about the things they shared about was explaining, I am this way, I am in this kind of way, but you need to focus what you are like. So that is why I spoke about feeling yourselves yesterday. That is so important. For instance, even our astrological charts speak on their own because they're like our earthly plan. And when you really are in tune on all levels of your being, with all aspects of you, then you really take your uniqueness. Then you take the stand of being you. For instance, someone will travel the world, someone won't. Someone will be, we're all different levels of awareness and variations of creation. So you become self-realized being when you take upon your role, your authenticity, your energetic signature, and step into it and dive deeply into it. So that's called the merging with your individualized I am presence, which we're doing now. And when you do that, You shine because you shine with creator light flowing through you, through your individualized aspect. If you constantly compare yourself with something inside of you, or for instance, if you still seek outside of you, because there's a lot of people who kind of are a lot opinionated, or try to give other people advice and think they're doing the right way. Well, they're in their own path, so to say, but they're not yet flowing from oneness, because in oneness and the way of the new, you simply don't need that. You just share from the heart with one another. We just create this space of sharing with each other. We don't have no need to. You know, that's why I say this, what I do is guidance, but it comes in the now moment with the flow. It's not to guide anyone, because they can guide themselves. My guidance is all about guiding you to guide yourself. That's what it's about. And the way I do it is to share the way that flows through me. And we should all learn to take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Because what resonates is also part of your energetic signature. It is also meaningful for you and for you in your path. So when you're still comparing yourself with something or someone or the situation you wish to be in, and you feel it doesn't just come in your life, it doesn't come for a reason, because it's not on your path. The more we try to force something to be on our path, the more resistance we create, and the less we will actually be on our path, because we're not embracing what is. We just want to create something that we wish it to be. Because a lot of times, especially when we were growing up, we saw these examples or role models and we wished to be just like them. And we saw, oh, this person is doing it that way. I feel a part of me wants to do the same. And we thought we were going to be like this way. But then as growing up, we were, shedding all those layers of false self and really finding out who we truly are, our true colors. For instance, I've always felt to be the kind of person that just is in my own vortex, that works through just being where I am. I always knew, for example, that I incarnated at the perfect spot on the planet that was right for me in the embrace of this beautiful nature. For me, Slovenia is one of the most beautiful countries in the whole world. For me, it doesn't have to be this way for you, but it's important to really feel what serves you. And when you see someone who's also so passionate and so self-realized that they radiate that out, so passionate about their life purpose and their qualities and their essences, you will start embracing your own, because you'll be touched by their presence and energy, like I said here in the last point. So the point here is not to compare. Like if I would see people who travel all around the world, I never had that feeling for that. I always was so focused on being where I am, because I knew that I'm working like an anchor point from here, and that people and situations and places come to me, because I always was living in my own vortex, and inner life was always more dominant than external life, because in the end, when you look at it, there's only inner life. It's just how you project it outwardly. But that's when I started embracing my own self and what feels good to me and what flows through me, and that came always so natural. But what is not a part of our purpose, but we wish to make it so, there's such effort and struggle, and people ask themselves why there's such struggle. Because you're trying for something instead of embracing what is. And that which is in your path can never ever run away from you. Especially by you fully releasing all that is not and just stepping into your authentic vibration. Shedding all that of old, because a lot of people who are empathic have accumulated a lot of thoughts and beliefs from others. Like, for instance, there's this very predominant thinking that if you are a spiritual guide or anything like that, you have to travel, you have to have conferences, you have to have workshops. And even I was invited many times, but if my soul said no, I did not do it. I just did not feel it for me. I feel that I'm always at the perfect spot at the perfect time, and so goes for you. It's all about how aware we are of this. That's the difference that makes us glow more or less. Because the more aware you are that you are this uniqueness and then embracing it, the more you will radiate that out every single moment, every single spark that flows through you, every spark of light. So with that message, I just wish to share much more about self-realization, because I started speaking a lot about this recently, and this is our next step as Ascension Pioneers, to embrace this beautiful source uniqueness that we are, to become empowered source beings of divine love. And I hope this message brought you something that you needed to hear, because whenever we go outside of ourselves and compare, and think, oh gosh, why do they have it like this and I do not? We kind of step outside and we wish to be something that we're not. We forget who we are. We forget about living our own game. And when you will go deep enough, you will see that maybe beyond that mind that tries to project that in your heart, it doesn't even feel that. You don't even feel that. You will say, oh my God, thank God this isn't this way because I like it otherwise. That's your biggest blessing, to embrace this. So embrace and enjoy your uniqueness, and I'll talk to you all soon. I love you very much. Take care. Bye.